Now, tonight on Her Say, we discuss contraceptives, if you like, birth control methods. Now, a 2023 report by the Kenya Demographic and Health Survey revealed an uptake in family planning methods, particularly among married women. But the question we're asking tonight is, what if they fail? That's a conversation we shall be having shortly on this broadcast. But first, let's take a look at the highlights.
Kuna watu sijui wamepanga mkutano wengine wa uchochezi tu kama huu mahali pengine. Kule Imenti Central, huo mkutano hautaendelea.
Government bans Governor Kawira Mwangaza Okolea meetings. This as MCAs initiate process of impeaching the governor for the second time. Michael Twitter resigns as Athi Water Works CEO amid fraud allegations.
Kwamba pale katikati hapo ndio mahindi yanaripikia. So nikasema nikiweka kitu pale katikati mahindi yanaweza kutoa matokeo gani.
And we shall tell you about a farmer in Trans Nzoia County who has invented a machine to dry his cereals. Welcome to TV47 Weekend Edition, this 23rd day of September, Saturday. We're glad you could join us. We invite you to engage with us on our social media handles at TV47 News on X, at TV47 Kenya on Facebook, and my X handle is at Grace Kuria KE. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Rhoda Nyamai, and my name is Grace Kuria Kanja. Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has banned Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza's outreach program, dubbed Okolea Program, following chaos witnessed in Maua, Meru last week. The CS says the meetings are a recipe for chaos, warning the Meru County boss against defying his directive. This as the governor insists the meetings will continue. And as Eric Matika now reports, the situation seems to be escalating as members of County Assembly initiate a process to impeach the governor for the second time.
Meru County Governor
Kawira Mwangaza insists she will continue hosting her Okolea meetings, despite Interior CS Kithure Kindiki's directive banning the same. The furious Kindiki, who was speaking at Igembe Central constituency in Meru County, where he officially opened Kiengu sub-county and installed the first deputy commissioner at the same sub-county, CS Kindiki said what happened in Maua during the Okolea program by Meru governor, where the meeting turned chaotic and property was destroyed and people injured, should never be witnessed again.
Na hii mikutano ambayo inafanywa ya uchochezi na kuvuruga wananchi, nimesema hakuna mwanasiasa atakubaliwa kufanya mkutano wa kuvuruga amani hapa tena. Hiyo tumepiga marufuku, haitafanyika.
Kindiki ordered all the people involved during that Sunday incident to record a statement with the police, noting that all culpable in last Sunday's event will be held accountable. Leaders who accompanied Kindiki also criticized the Okolea program, noting that it was bringing disunity in the county. Meru MCS allied to Kenya Kwanza have also withdrawn their support for the embattled governor, announcing that the team consisting of 27 MCS has initiated a process to impeach the Meru County boss for the second time.
We have resolved to start a fresh impeachment motion to the governor of Meru, one Honorable Bishop Kawira Mwangaza, and we have already signed, appended our signatures, the 27 of us who form or comprise the Kenya Kwanza caucus in the County Assembly, in preparation for a fresh impeachment motion after the one that we had last year was thwarted in the Senate.
At least 10 suspects linked to the chaos were arrested and Meru Deputy Governor Isaac Mutuma grilled by DCI. The CS noting that he will deal with the case as he dealt with the anti-government protest called by Azimio that led to massive destruction of property and loss of lives.
The same way we were very firm with demonstrators and rioters, protesters of Azimio who were breaking property and killing people in the pretext of politics. Even here, we are not going to allow it. Na mwenye anafikiri ni mchezo, ajaribu.
Kindiki said he is aware that Mwangaza is planning to hold a similar meeting in Imenti Central this Sunday and has issued a stern warning against the same. In the last Okolea program function, chaos erupted, leading to the burning of mattresses that the governor intended to donate. Eric Matika, TV47, Nairobi.
Right, thank you, Eric Matika, for kicking us off tonight. Now, a 160 million fraud case is unfolding, linking Sacco belonging to staff members of the National Intelligence Service with 9 workers at the Sacco arrested over fraud claims. The 9 suspects are accused of siphoning off of the Sacco to a tune of 160 million shillings. Now, could this be a case of the hunter being the hunted? Sheila Chalangat reports.
The Directorate of Criminal Investigations have in earnest began their investigations into allegations of the disappearance of 160 million Kenyan shillings linked to the Sacco belonging to staff members of the National Intelligence Service. Detectives at the DCI say that the suspects arrested include some of the senior managers of the Sacco, including Amos Kipchumba, who was the internal auditor, the loans manager Violet Wali, the accountant Karen Langat, and the system analyst Hamisi Zaunga and Miriam Nthenya. According to the statement from the official account of the DCI, the named suspects colluded in siphoning off of the Sacco funds. The 9 have since been dismissed and are facing 9 counts of charges, including conspiracy to commit a felony, stealing by servant, false accounting, negligence, computer fraud, forgery, uttering a false document, and access with intent to commit an offence, amongst other charges. The detectives are, however, trailing 3 other suspects believed to be in hideout. The 9 will be arraigned on Monday to answer to charges leveled against them. Sheila Chalangat for TV47 in Nairobi.
Thank you, Sheila Chalangat, for that. Now, Michael Thoita has resigned as Athi Waterworks Development Agency CEO following his arrest by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission following allegations of corruption. In a statement released today by Chairperson of Athi Water Board, Charles Karondo, naming Mungai Kamau the acting CEO with immediate effect. His resignation comes just hours after Head of Public Service Felix Koskei ordered for his suspension pending investigations on 3 key water projects which were awarded between 2012 and 2018. This as Water and Sanitation Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome distanced herself from this saga. Here is Elizabeth Mtuku with more.
After a whole week discussion on suspension of CEO at the Waterworks Development Agency, Michael Thoita finally has resigned from the agency, the position given to Mungai Kamau, who will serve in an acting capacity. In a statement released today by Chairperson of Athi Water Board, Charles Karondo, named Mungai the acting CEO with immediate effect, thanking Thoita for his service, and I quote, "I want to thank Engineer Michael M. Thoita for his service to the agency. We assure all our stakeholders and public at large that Athi Waterworks Development Agency will continue to discharge its mandate effectively." Thoita's resignation comes just hours after Head of the Public Service Felix Koskei directed Water Agency to suspend him pending draft investigations by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission EACC. Koskei cited irregularities in the awarding of tenders for the construction of Ruiru 2 Dam, Karimenu Dam, and Kitwima 2 water projects as reason for Thoita's suspension, by which would pave way for investigations. The directive came even as it emerged Water, Irrigation and Sanitation Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome had declined a request by EACC to suspend Thoita to facilitate an investigation. On 31st May this year, CS Wahome wrote to EACC maintaining that there wasn't enough evidence to support the suspension request against Thoita and the alleged offences, though today Wahome in a statement defended herself from shielding Engineer Thoita in what she says, and I quote, "I support zero tolerance of corruption, and same time I confirm I will uphold rule of law and constitutionalism, handling this matter and any other matter may be brought to my attention in course of my duties as the Cabinet Secretary. Yesterday, EACC officers arrested Duita and forced him to lead them to two of his homes in Westlands and Rongai and his office in search for documents they believed were crucial in their investigations. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Elizabeth Mutuku, for that. Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has tonight come to the defense of President William Ruto's one-year performance in office, including the skyrocketing fuel prices. Now, Gachagua, who spoke in Nyandarua County, urged Kenyans to be patient as the president turns around the country's economy, saying the high cost of fuel is a global problem. Apollo Kamau reports.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua lived up to the billing to defend Kenya Kwanza's 1 year in office in jump-starting an ailing economy amid high fuel prices that have now hit a record 200 shilling mark a litre. Gachagua, who spoke during the burial of Mama Teresia Wangeshi, mother to the Vice Chief of the Defence Forces, Lieutenant General Jonah Mwangi, said the high cost of fuel is not the making of the president, but a global problem.
Hii si shida ya Rais William Ruto. Sasa wanamtupia mawe mtoto ya mwenyewe. Hata huyu William Ruto, kwani hapana mtoto ya mama? Yeye ameng'ang'ana pahali ataweza. Sisi hatuna mafuta Kenya. Na ndio nilimwambia ndugu yangu jana Moses Kuria. Nikamwambia wewe ni mtoto ya nyumbani. Tutakuchapa kidogo tukikurudisha nyumba. Sababu alikuwa amesema tu watu wachipe visima. Sasa hata tukichiba hapa kuna kitu kitatoka. Hapa hakuna oil, hakuna chochote.
The high cost of fuel has put the government on a collision course after Trade Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria told Kenyans complaining of the prices to dig their own wells, leaving the deputy president to do damage control that had threatened the unity of Kenya Kwanza leaders in the Mount Kenya region.
Na ndio tumemwambia wafanyikazi wetu wote wa serikali, hata kukiwa na shida, ongelesha watu polepole. Ongelesha watu na heshima. Heshima si utumwa. Ongelesha watu useme hapa iko shida, hii tutatatua, na mpatie watu hope. Tusiue watu roho.
With Kenyans taking a beat from a limping economy, weighed down by the trigger effects of fuel prices, which affect the prices of basic commodities, the deputy president told the opposition to spare the president for inheriting a poor economy, as Azimio leader Raila Odinga gave the president a D-, terming his one-year leadership a disaster.
That the darkest hour is just before dawn. Rais anajaribu, mimi namwambia halali. Ametoka Amerika, ameenda wapi, anapambana day and night akitutafutia mazuri.
The country's high fuel prices have seen the country ranked 12th as a country with the most expensive fuel prices in Africa. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Thank you, Apollo Kamau, for that. Now, 2 people have died while several others continue to receive treatment at the Embu Level 5 hospital following a road accident at Embu town on the Embu-Nairobi highway. Eyewitnesses say the driver of a matatu lost control of the vehicle after his brakes failed, killing 2 pedestrians on the spot. Emory Kisere reports.
2 people have died following a fatal road accident that occurred near the Embu Level 5 hospital on the Embu-Nairobi highway this afternoon. It is alleged that the driver of the matatu lost control of the vehicle after the brakes failed, hitting 2 pedestrians. An eyewitness, Anne Murigi, says she was on the motorbike when the matatu that was behind them pushed them off the road. A shocked Murigi says they were able to pick themselves up and sped ahead of the matatu to alert other road users of the impending danger.
Nikaambia driver wa motorbike tuteremke ndio tuende tukiarata wengine, ndio tumekuja tukipiga nduru. Tunapiga nduru, watu wanaingia kwa barabara. Tunapiga nduru, watu wanatoka juu ya tension yetu. Tunawaambia gari imeruse brakes, ondokeni kwa njia. Ndio tumefika hospitali tukapata imegonga watu 2 kwa gate ya hospitali. Kijana mmoja alikuwa anavuka njia na hiyo njia kuingia showground imegonga pia mwingine, wamekufa.
Another resident, Joshua Njeru, has asked the government to conduct a thorough inspection on public service vehicles to avert such cases in the future.
Ningeomba serikali ichunguze magari yote ya matatu gari zote siangaliwe kama breki ikiwa ni nini iwekwe service, sababu accident kama hiyo imetendeka hapo, hiyo watu wamekufa hapo, sio watu walikuwa na makosa, ni watu wanajifanyia kazi yao na ni vimbaya sana.
All the passengers that were on the matatu sustained injuries and continue to receive treatment at the Embu Level 5 hospital, while the bodies of the deceased have been moved to the hospital's mortuary. Kisewa Emory, TV47.
Right, Kisewa Emory, thank you so much for that. And we'll now take our first commercial break here on TV47 Weekend Edition. Stay with us.
The news that matters the most is the one that hits close to home. When disasters strike, we are there to inform you. When the bullets are flying, we tell you who's shooting and why. Reporting on your victories, your health, your money, your security, your past, present, and future. We are interested in telling the stories of creativity, hard work, and resilience that you are known for.
That is our job. This is my job. My name is Victor Muyakane, and it's my honor to bring you this news this way every Thursday night on the home of Untold Stories.
Katika majengo haya, hapa ndipo sheria zinapotungwa na zinapopakuliwa. Nitakuletea viongozi mbalimbali, mirengo mbalimbali, wote kwa pamoja wakipika na kupakua. Tutawapa nafasi kuweza kuangazia changamoto na mafanikio ya ugatuzi katika ukumbi wa siasa kila siku ya Jumanne kuanzia saa 1 kamili na kuendelea.
Toka eneo hili la Naivasha kwenye kaunti 032, gatuzi la Nakuru.
Toka kaunti ya Elgeyo Marakwet, kaunti 028.
Metamania is here.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Right, thank you so much for staying with us. Now, 2 in 100,000 people in the world are battling chronic myeloid leukemia, a type of blood cancer declared dangerous if the patient does not seek urgent medical attention. Now, this type of leukemia accounts for 15% of all types of leukemia, and its treatment is approximately 300,000 shillings per month, Kenya shillings per month, rather. Now, Elizabeth Atieno reports.
Almost 9,000 people are diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia every year. At the Nairobi hospital, hundreds of people battling chronic myeloid leukemia are currently on treatment, Susan Wangari being one of them, narrates her journey battling this rare and uncommon type of cancer.
Nilifanyiwa bone marrow, kufanyiwa bone marrow, hapo ndipo results zangu za kwanza zilitokea na wakasema ni leukemia.
Wakati huo sasa kuna kitu ilianza hapa nilikuwa nasikia kama kuna mawe hapa ndani. Nasikia uchungu kwa mwili yote. Nilipimwa, kuna vipimo zingine nilitumwa mpaka Pandia Nairobi Hospital, nilipimwa hapa. Ikapatikana sasa ni hiyo CML.
Chronic myeloid leukemia occurs when blood cells with cancer build up in the bone marrow and spills over into the bloodstream, affecting various parts of the body, especially the abdomen. Some of the signs and symptoms include weight loss, abdominal swelling, and excessive bleeding.
In the process, I lost one of my ear and eye as well. And also have hearing and eye impairment.
Patients with chronic myeloid leukemia are forced to set aside 24,000 Kenya shillings every week to cater for their treatment. However, over 2,300 are lucky enough to have benefited from free drugs under the GPAP program launched in 2004.
1,482 are active. A total of 176 patients are currently on second-line medication.
Since the inception of this program,
We have seen a donation of medicine which is worth over 100 billion Kenyan shillings.
Today we are seeing a trend which somebody in this country has to arrest. And the trend towards just making money out of medicine.
As a doctor, therefore, we live a life for others.
Let us not adopt a permanently dependent attitude. If the Marx Foundation could do it, why can't we do it here?
Kenyans have been urged to observe a healthy lifestyle and proper nutrition to protect themselves from being diagnosed with different types of cancer, which is Kenya's third leading cause of death, affecting about 47,000 people, further claiming the lives of 30,000 every year. As Kenya joins the world in marking World Chronic Myeloid Leukemia Day, a call has been made to the government to find a lasting solution to the high cost of cancer treatment in the country. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47 from the Nairobi Hospital, Nairobi.
Indeed, Elizabeth Atieno, thank you. Now, a farmer in Trans Nzoia County has invented a grain dryer machine that has ensured his corn dries up faster and safer, plus zero aflatoxin. Ambrose Leibich says since the invention, his harvest time has been seamless, noting that he has not incurred any losses, as Isaac Famba now reports.
Ambrose Leibich, a farmer in Titmet Endebess constituency, Trans Nzoia County, has invented this machine which has been useful for him for 3 seasons, used to preserve his maize produce in a good way.
So, ilichukua muda mrefu kuanzia 2014, 2015, wakati huo wote 2016, nilijaribu mbinu yote kuhakikisha kwamba labda mahindi yanaharibika kwa nini. Lakini haikuwezekana, ikafika 2016 ikaharibika, 2017 ikaharibika sana. So nikawasia ndafanyaje ili hii store isiweze kuharibu mahindi. So nikaona ya kwamba pale katikati hapo ndio mahindi yanaharibikia. So nikasema nikiweka kitu pale katikati mahindi yanaweza kutoa matokeo gani.
It is a machine that does not use electricity or sun but uses normal wind to dry up cereals which mostly affect the produce while in the storage. This new invention has saved him from incurring any losses occasioned by aflatoxin contamination for the past 3 years.
So nilikuwa nikifuna mahindi nikiweka ndani wakati na kongoa napata ya kwamba mahindi yanaharibika. So ilichukua muda mrefu kwa sababu kila mwaka wakati unafuna mahindi unaweka ndani mahindi mazuri, lakini baada ya miezi 2, miezi 3, miezi 4 wakati unaenda kukongoa mahindi napata ya kwamba pale katikati hapo unapata ya kwamba mahindi yameharibika. So,
for a farmer to come up with such an innovation, he needs several items, including wire, nails, and wood, for this construction, which will cost the farmer between 10,000 to 15,000 shillings, depending on the size of the storage facility.
Nilichukua gharama hii ilikuwa 2019. It was approximately 12,000 kuunda hii kitu. Alafu tukakuja tukaongeza hiyo kidogo kidogo. So unaona kwa gharama ya saa hii mtu akikuwa na almost 15,000 anaweza unda hii na hata pata hasara tena. Kwa sababu ukikumbuka ya kwamba unaweza poteza mahindi hata gunia 20. Sasa kukombea 15,000 na gunia 20 na hii inakaa kwa muda mrefu. Unaona ya kwamba ni faida sana. Yeah.
However, the locals have elevated with this discovery, saying that this may be a permanent solution to the losses have been incurring during the harvest time. Such innovation may help a lot to increase maize production in this country, considering that the area produces 5 million bags of maize every year.
Wakati hatukuwa tumejua ilikuwa aje, chakula ilikuwa ikiwekwa kwa stores zinaoza. Mara mingi ile unyefu inashika na inafanya ile moshi ya kuoza. Lakini kitu tulipopata tukaona ni kitu ya maana sana, maana imetufanya chakula kukaa vizuri kwa hiyo muda ambaya huwa tunangojea kwenda kusiela. Ikawa imetusaidia kwa sababu wakati tuliona aliposhela mwaka jana ikawa ni mzuri chakula.
Sisi kama wakazi wa hapa Matumbei ama Titmet ama Matumbei as a whole, hii sasa ndio tumeweza kujifunzia mali hapa, maana ukiangalia mahindi ambayo mwalimu kwa hiyo mwaka 2018 up to now, tunaona mahindi ni mahindi inahifadhiwa kwa njia mzuri.
Isaac Famba, TV47.
Right, thank you, Isaac Famba, for that. To the world of sports now, and the national women's football team, Harambee Starlets, started their 2024 Women Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers campaign on a slow foot after falling to a 1-0 defeat at the hands of Cameroon in their first round tie of the competition at the Reunification de Douala Stadium. Now, the KG match saw striker Elaine Mambalamo scoring a blistering header only 9 minutes into the match to give Cameroon the lead as they held on to victory. Now, Harambee Starlets had numerous chances to score goals, which they, however, failed to capitalize on, as their head coach Beldine Odemba stated that they are still in the tie. Now, the return leg of the fixture is expected to be held on the 26th of September this year at the Nyayo National Stadium, as Harambee Starlets call upon Kenyan fans to turn up in large numbers and support them. And Ezekiel Okare scored a brace as Bidco United came from behind to defeat FC Talanta 3-1 in their round 4 tie of the FKF Premier League at the Kasarani Annex. The intense match saw FC Talanta taking an early lead after finding the back of the net inside 6 minutes of play. However, Francis Oduor equalized for Bidco United 29 minutes later. Okare exhibited his fine form in the match and added his name on the score sheet with a 66th minute goal before sealing his brace in the dying minutes of the game. Now, other matches in the league played Saturday afternoon saw Kenya Police FC playing out to a 2-2 draw with AFC Leopards, Kariobangi Sharks defeating Shabana FC 1-0, while Tusker FC edged Muhoroni Youth 1-0. Right, time now for our second commercial break here on TV47 Weekend Edition. Stay with us. We come back with that conversation on contraceptives when they fail. What do you do and how, or what leads them to fail sometimes, right? Okay, so our sign language interpreter tonight has been Rod Anyamai. Let's take that break. Stay with us.
The news that matters the most is the one that hits close to home. When disasters strike, we are there to inform you. When the bullets are flying, we tell you who's shooting and why. Reporting on your victories, your health, your money, your security, your past, present, and future. We are interested in telling the stories of creativity, hard work, and resilience that you are known for. That is our job. This is my job. My name is Victor Muyakane, and it's my honor to bring you this news this way every Thursday night on the home of Untold Stories.
Katika majengo haya, hapa ndipo sheria zinapotungwa na zinapopakuliwa. Nitakuletea viongozi mbalimbali, mirengo mbalimbali, wote kwa pamoja wakipika na kupakua. Tutawapa nafasi kuweza kuangazia changamoto na mafanikio ya ugatuzi katika ukumbi wa siasa kila siku ya Jumanne kuanzia saa 1 kamili na kuendelea.
Toka eneo hili la Naivasha kwenye kaunti 032, gatuzi la Nakuru.
Toka kaunti ya Elgeyo Marakwet, kaunti 028.
Nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Wajir.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Turukana. Kwa matukio yote yanayojiri katika kaunti hii 012.
kutoka kaunti nambari 1, kaunti ya Mombasa.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Lamu.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka Kisii County.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Machakos.
Kutoka kaunti hii ya Trans Nzoia.
Kaunti 038.
Kutoka gatuzi nambari 029, kaunti ya Nandi, chemichemi ya mabingwa.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Kakamega.
Itakuwa nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Bungoma.
Jina langu ni Paula Monio.
Willy Dennis Jiru.
Fabian Kibet.
Mimi ni Hashim Jimal.
Mimi ni Kitio Mika Masai.
John Javakiania.
Jina langu ni Abdulaziz Nameka.
Mimi ni Kombo Alfayo.
Jina langu ni Nicholas Mbai.
Isaac Famba.
Mimi ni Wanji Sosti.
Jina langu ni Arnold Adidi.
Jina langu ni Chris Bet.
Jina langu ni Violet Auma.
Na TV47 inapotamba, mimi Sheila Chelangat nitakuwa nikiripotia maswala yanayokuhusu wewe kila kuchao.
Every Thursday 7:30 p.m. unapata nafasi kufahamu viongozi mbalimbali kutoka humu nchini, kuanzia wabunge.
Through Changa we could get money to pay our rent, to pay our bills.
When I was growing up, water was a problem where I was born and bred. We wake up at 3 to go and look for water.
Magavana
must be ready to be a tough woman and not a woman to be walked over.
Kwa hivyo
you respect people.
Dari ya mfahamu kiongozi, story na historia, na mi Elizabeth Muchuku.
Kwa mirindimo kemkem ya michezo, mahojiano ya kipekee na mabingwa wetu, makala ya kuvutia pamoja na matukio mubashara viwanjani. Shabiki, tutapiga mbizi katika kila kiwanja, ndani na hata nje ya nchi. Mtazamaji, uko tayari? Ni kazi michezoni ama michezo kazini? Ungana nami Ahmed Bahaj, sajili mpya nimefika katika kipindi cha kipekee Mchaka Mchaka. Zitatoka cheche, tutapiga mstari chini yake. Si bora michezo, ni michezo kwa ubora wake. Cheche.
They say money makes the world go round. So let's slow things down a bit. Put things in perspective. From the markets to the streets to the stocks, we make the complex comprehensible. Join me, Hibak Saeed, on TV47 Business News for market insights like never before.
What's making the headlines? What does it mean to you? How does it affect you? We answer all these questions every Sunday for half an hour on To The Point Show. Hey, I'm Grace Kuriakanja, and a lot has happened this week. Let's dive into it.
Because you have to pay, or else your property goes.
Tuesday, 6:30 p.m.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. Time now for our conversation On contraceptives, remember we are asking what to do when they fail, why do they fail, how would they fail, okay? And my guests are already with me in studio. Dr. Bridget Monda, there she is. She is a consultant obstetrician and a gynecologist. Thank you so much, Doc, for joining us this evening. And of course, joining us live via Zoom is Patricia Kombo, who is a mother. Patricia, good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
Great, Patricia. I'll be coming to you shortly, but Doc, I want to start with you. I see you have your staff with us here. You will be talking to us about them shortly. Yeah. But I want to start with a comment that we got from one of our viewers when we put it out there that we're going to be discussing contraceptives today. He's actually a man, Mwananchi Mzalendo, and he says contraceptive drugs are killing reproductive health here in Kenya. Do you agree?
Absolutely not. There's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of wrong information, and then they're just cultural beliefs based on really nothing substantial. Because why would he say something like that? Yeah, why would he say something like that? Mm-hmm. In traditional African society, the way we planned families was through polygamy. And in some cultures, for example, a man would never have intercourse with his wife until the child she had born was able to carry a plate of food to him. So that way, they were able to plan their families and space them. But in today's age, we have modern technology. Mm-hmm. So that is absolutely not true.
Right, yeah. Right. It's a great thing we started by debunking that, Doc. So let me come to you, Patricia. And I don't know how you're going to summarize everything, but I want you to share your story with us regarding today's topic on contraceptives, Patricia.
Thank you very much, Grace, and I'm super excited to be sharing this platform on the one day to commemorate Contraceptive Day. And my story is, I think I relate with a lot of teenagers because I'm a product, or rather, out of failed contraceptives, I was able to conceive. And this goes back to when I was at the university, when you're so fresh, everything is so new, and the only information that you know about contraceptives is the emergency pill. So for me, I popped the pill. I followed all the instructions, the timing and everything that it's recommended, but it failed. And out of it failing, I was able to conceive at 20. At 20, I became a mother at 20 while I was still at the university. And I had chosen the contraceptive that I knew would work. But unfortunately, I don't know why, the reason it failed. And it's not only me, because I had like four friends within the university period who wished the same stories. We followed the right procedures. We bought when we took the pills on the prescribed time, but we ended up becoming mothers. So the question that we ask ourselves, that I've been asking myself because of the debate of access to contraceptives, is not actually the access to them, but effectively working, because the moment you go for a contraceptive, you have your motives perhaps to control, early unwanted pregnancies, to prevent STIs. So I feel any contraceptive that people should actually choose to have, they must work, because to me it failed, and I do not regret it failing. I ended up becoming a mother at 20, and now my daughter is turning 7 in January.
Right.
She's a product of failed contraceptive, but I'm super proud of it.
Right, Patricia, we hear you. And you are talking about the emergency pill, P2. Most people,
call it P2.
Exactly. The question, Doc, is it a contraceptive?
Now, what people always forget, it is a contraceptive, but what people always forget is that word emergency. An emergency pill is supposed to be used just when you've had an emergency, when you've had unsafe sex at a time when you are fertile, when a condom has burst, if you've been sexually assaulted. What a lot of people don't know is that ideally the e-pill is not supposed to be used more than once in a cycle being that menstrual cycle for that month. So a cycle begins on the first day of your menstrual period and ends when the next period begins. So you're not supposed to use it more than once in that cycle. So you'll find people are buying it and you're popping it like sweets. It's not a regular contraceptive method. If you're regularly sexually active, you need to be on a more, a safer, more regular method of contraception. Okay, that's one. Two, the e-pill will not work if you've ovulated. The e-pill only works to prevent ovulation. Now, the female egg lasts 24 hours. Sperm in a woman's reproductive system is viable for up from 5 to 7 days, okay? So fine, you do take the e-pill and you're told you're within 72 hours, but immediately those hormone levels drop, the egg is released. And if the sperm's still swimming around, you will get pregnant. So it's the lack of information that actually makes young girls and women who use the e-pill end up getting pregnant because of that. The safest time to take the e-pill is in the first part of the menstrual cycle before ovulation occurs. Once ovulation occurs, it doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
And Patricia, I believe you can hear what Doc here is saying, and she says it's not supposed to be a regular method of contraception, right? Yeah. So did you have this knowledge? Did you have this information then, Patricia, you and your friends, because you talk of you and your 4 other friends who all fell pregnant despite popping the emergency pill. Did you have this information? Do you wish you had it then?
I had limited information in regard to, to the emergency pill. And when I joined university, the only contraceptive that actually the entire population was talking about was the P2. And I can say, as she has said, it's not supposed to be taken within a cycle. I think I had broken the rule, but in regards to ovulation, actually, Dr. I can confirm it was before ovulation. I was 100% sure that it was going to work, but I had limited information because you could find within a cycle, actually, to me, that was the only contraceptive. I did not take the emergency aspect in it. All I wanted was just to prevent pregnancy. So that was the only information that I had. The second information that I had about contraceptives was the 30-day pills. And I had a lot of, I can say, misinformation in regard to them. People are telling us that they could make you, fat, they could mess up with your hormones. So to us, we thought the emergency pill, I thought the P2 actually was the safest, was actually easily accessible to purchase at the university over the counter because it was readily available. But I took before ovulation, that one I can testify, and it did not work.
Patricia, I don't want to get too intrusive, and if I am, let me know. But you say that you did not, or I want to know if you took it regularly, the emergency pills. Did you take them regularly, Patricia? That's what I want to know. Because you actually say your own words that you broke the rules. That's what you said. That's what I was looking for.
Yes. Yeah, I broke the rule. It's not like within 1 month I took twice, but within the entire year, if I could calculate, actually that was the only contraceptive I used anytime I wanted to enjoy. So that was the only, I could say in a year, if you calculate anytime, let's say 6 times in a year, that I find it, now I find it was abusing the purpose of the drug. I wish I knew there were other methods of contraceptive that I would have used, because to me, I feel I used regularly and I broke actually the code. And later when it failed and I was going back, perhaps I had used a lot of them. That's why they were used to my system. Perhaps, I had enough, there's a limit to when you take something and your body becomes, it can't take it anymore. But I feel I took a lot of them.
Right, Patricia.
And something. Yeah, you see, the e-pill, when you take it, it disorganizes your cycle. Your menstrual cycle actually depends on when you ovulate. So if you take it, even if it's before, your cycle will change. Your period either comes in earlier or a bit later. So with the next cycle, you won't be sure when you'll be ovulating. So that is one thing they forget. A lot of us forget, a lot of women forget. Number 2, you're not supposed to be buying your contraceptives over the counter without having information so that you make an informed decision. And this is what we're trying to tell women. Get the right information from the right person. Go to your healthcare worker. There are clinics where, you can actually go and see a doctor. Like I know at the university, they have a university students clinic. There are gynecologists there, by the way. You can get that information from them, or even from the reproductive health nurse, the family. I think they have a family planning clinic. So you're not supposed to walk to a pharmacy and get your contraceptive until you've actually seen a healthcare worker or a gynecologist like me, for example, so that you're given all the information and you're able to make an informed decision. So the e-pill is supposed to be used as an emergency method, but not as a regular contraceptive method.
Is there a ripple effect, in future when now, say you're married, you want to have children, is there a ripple effect of continued or prolonged use of emergency pills? Because we see ladies popping them, especially in universities, every week, almost on a daily basis.
The question I always ask is this: what's the difference between you and you before the marriage certificate and ring and after? The only difference is the legal aspects of the relationship. That's it. So the consequences you have before and after are the same. That's one. Two, there is a myth out there that, like what the gentleman said, that contraceptives cause infertility. They don't. In fact, hormonal contraceptives, which includes the pill, the injectables, the implants, the hormone-releasing IUD, actually protect your fertility because of how they work. They create a false pregnancy state in the body. So all the positives you get from that actually protect your fertility. They don't cause infertility. There used to be what we now call the copper T, the 10-year IUD. There was what people felt was an increased incidence of pelvic infection. But the way it is made nowadays does not increase that risk at all. But when it comes to hormonal contraceptives, my dear, even with the e-pill, it doesn't cause infertility. It actually protects your fertility.
But do they delay, say now you're ready to get pregnant, can you experience a delay because you used contraceptives even after having visited a Ghana for say 10 years, for instance?
No. The only one that may have a delayed return to fertility, not causing infertility, is the old form of Depo-Provera, the injectable, the 3-monthly injection. But there's a new one that has less hormone and is equally effective. I brought some samples if you'd like to see it. Otherwise, they also, the injectable forms of hormonal contraceptives still protect your fertility.
Most definitely, Doc. Will take us through them.
Yeah, okay.
We appreciate, you bringing them here. Patricia, in my research, I discovered some people, outside Africa, as expected. There's a lady who actually wanted to sue a contraceptive company because she fell pregnant, despite being on the contraceptives. I don't know what, you are young, 20, like you said, but I don't know what was going through your mind then when you discovered that this thing has failed.
To be honest, because I am telling you, it was I knew friends or other classmates who got pregnant within the same period. That was in 2017. We later came out to realize, or rather we found out there was a dispatch, but these are our own investigations. There was no scientific or other investigation that was done, but we realized during that period there was an increase in number of P2 babies, and there were allegations that there was a release of counterfeit contraceptives because they were being sold everywhere, and some students actually got into the business of selling the P2. If you've been in a public university, you know the kind of business that run. So I came to realize, or rather I came to my conclusion that I might have bought a counterfeit contraceptive because it was not only me during that period. The number of people who I knew actually got conceived during that period, and they had similar incidents. That was my own conclusion, but I do not have any proof to it. It was just a mere observation, and from listening from other people, I was able to come to that conclusion.
Right. Does that happen a lot, Doc? Counterfeit products, yes.
Yes, we have a very porous system. So we have what we call briefcase pharmacists who actually bring in import drugs. It's just that the checks and balances that need to be there are just not there, or they're not enforced. Because the laws are there, they're just not enforced. So it is possible. I mean, it does happen. We do get fake drugs getting into the country.
Sure.
So I wouldn't say that what you're saying is not true. It is possible. It's just that, and I will keep saying this, one needs to get the right kind of information from the right type of healthcare worker.
Right.
Information is power, and when you have information, you're able to make an informed choice. Yeah.
Right. And this is where you take us through what we have on our table here.
Okay, so this is the reproductive system, basically, okay? I'll use this as a pointer. That's the vagina. That whole body is the uterus.
Right.
That's the lower part of the uterus, the cervix, where we do pap smears. Those are the fallopian tubes and those are the ovaries. So when you have intercourse, semen is deposited here and the sperm swim up and come and look for an egg here. So it's released from the ovary, and if it floats into the tube and meets with the sperm, it's fertilized and it settles in the uterine cavity and forms a baby. So all contraceptives work to prevent some or all those processes. So when it comes to hormonal contraception, can I go into that?
Sure.
Okay. So when it comes to hormonal contraception, what they do, they create a very thick mucus plug in the cervix, which makes it difficult for sperms to swim up and get into the uterine cavity and into the tube. And then they thin the lining of the uterus, because this is where the fertilized egg will implant, and makes it hostile for that egg. The egg is not able to implant. So even if it's fertilized, it's not able to implant. And then they disorganize the movement of these tubes, because these tubes don't hang the way they are. This is just for ease of understanding, okay?
Sure.
This tube actually moves to where the egg is and sucks it in, it creates a current and sucks in the egg. And then they act at the level of the ovary. That's where the main action is. When you're on anything hormonal, the hormone levels are raised above a certain level. So from a layman's perspective, a simple way of putting it is the brain, because of the slightly elevated hormone levels, the brain is actually tricked into thinking you're pregnant. And when you're pregnant, you don't release an egg. And without an egg, it doesn't matter how much sperm there is swimming around, you will not get pregnant, okay? So that's basically all hormonal contraceptives. That's what they do. Now, I told you they have benefits. So this mucus plug that they form here makes it very difficult, not just for the sperm to penetrate and get to the egg. They also make infection-causing bacteria, make it impossible for them to get to the upper parts of the reproductive tract and cause infection. That would block the tubes and cause infertility. So that's how hormonal contraceptives protect against infertility.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
They actually protect your fertility. So, and also because they make the lining of the uterus thin, you find, especially when you're on the pill, you'll notice that your period is lighter. And then they take care of period pains as well. You don't get period pains anymore. They regulate, the shorter acting ones like the pill and the patch regulate your cycle. And then they protect you against cancer of the uterus. Hormonal contraceptives do not cause cancer. They actually protect against cancer of the uterus. And then because they act on the ovaries as well, you find they protect you against forming ovarian cysts and also protect you against certain types of ovarian cancers. And then the shorter acting ones like the pill and the patch are also very good for the skin and the hair. Now, when it comes to the coil, so the hormonal contraceptives include the pill.
Yeah.
They include the injectables, okay? This is the new Depo-Provera Cyanopress, okay, yeah. And then there's the 2-monthly injection Aristorat, and then there's the patch. The patch is actually the pill delivered through the skin, yeah. And then so there's the pills, there's the injectables, there's the implants. This gives you contraception for up to 5 years. This has one of these sticks here, so this gives contraception for up to 3 years. And then we have the coils. So there's the famous copper T. This gives you contraception up to 13 years, okay?
13 years.
13 years. Yeah. And then they're newer, more improved.
If you change your mind, you can get it.
Yeah, you pull it out. When you don't want to have it anymore, or if it's causing side effects, then you can remove it anytime. And then there's the ones that give you a contraception for a shorter period of time. Basically the same thing, but improved shape. So that's the copper Y. You can see it's smaller with less copper. And then there's multi-load. So these give you contraception for 5 years. And then there's the hormone-releasing IUD. Now, the beauty of this is there's very little of this hormone that gets into the system. So it gives you the benefits of the coil, the benefits of hormonal contraception without the side effects of either. Yeah. So that's basically what we have. There's also something called a new ring. There are some new ones in the market that really haven't gotten into the market yet.
Right.
But I know the new ring. It's a ring that you actually just put around the cervix. It's actually a hormonal method of contraception as well. Something I forgot to mention, my dear, hormonal contraceptives are based on the hormones that make us women. And they're mainly two. There's estrogen and progesterone. So something like the combined oral contraceptive pill or the patch are based on have both estrogen and progesterone. Then there's the plain progesterone ones. We have a pill, a plain progesterone pill. You take every day for 35 days continuous. Right. And then the plain progesterone ones also include the injectables and the implants. Yeah.
So if I come to you as a patient, doc, what determines what you recommend for me among all these? Is it my preference? Do I come to you and tell you I want this? Or are there factors or things that determine what you're going to recommend to me?
There are things that determine what we're going to recommend for you. For example, do you have a history of, first of all, we take a full history and we'll do a physical examination, and then we'll ask, when do you want to have children? Do you want a long-term method or a short-term method? Do you have a history of things like migraines? Do you have a history of clots? It depends. Are you diabetic? Do you have thyroid gland disease? Family history as well. So those are the things that we actually look at before we give you a method. More often than not, you can use any method. There's no test that we will do to determine what kind of contraceptive you can use.
Right.
But looking at those factors then, we help you decide on what method you would want to use. So for example, if you've had 3 children, and you don't want to have any more children. Sorry, I also forgot to mention something, my dear. Of course, there's the permanent methods like tubal ligation and vasectomy.
Yeah, sure.
And then there's the natural family planning.
Vasectomy is permanent? It's reversible?
Yes. No. The chances of you reversing a vasectomy are very slim.
It's irreversible?
It's irreversible. Wow. We look at it as a permanent method of contraception. So it's vasectomy and a BTL, a bilateral tubal ligation. And then, of course, there's a natural family planning based on your cycle.
Sure.
And then use of condoms as well. Condoms are also a contraceptive.
Doc, I have to ask this. I know it's not yet 10 p.m., but let me just say just one word, withdrawal.
Pull and pray, as one patient once told me. The failure rate is really high. What people don't understand is when you're having intercourse, there's a bit of semen that's actually released before the actual ejaculation. And that sperm, that semen actually has sperm in it. And sperms are they travel like heat sensors in one direction with one purpose. So that is why someone will tell you, I didn't have penetrative sex and ended up pregnant. Yes, because the semen actually got to the outside of the external genitalia and they just swam in and got to where they needed to get to. Yeah. So the failure rate is really high.
Right. Yeah. Right. You mentioned side effects. What are they?
Potential side effects depend on what method you're using. Something like the pill and the patch, you may get migraines, you may get breast tenderness, you may get nausea and vomiting, but it's also very individual. Something I forgot to mention, it's never one size fits all. What works for you may not work for me, okay?
Yeah.
When it comes to the plain progesterone, the ones that are based on just progesterone, for some women, and not all women. And that's why you hear, we hear this, we hear that. That is why you need to get this information from a medical person. You may put on weight, you may get an irregular cycle, you may not get your period, you may get acne as well. When it comes to not getting a period, by the way, for us doctors, that's a positive. It's a positive side effect because it protects you against anemia and against infections as well. Then when it comes to the coils, the non-hormonal ones may cause slightly heavier periods, particularly the copper T. And then when it comes to Mirena, the commonest side effect is a bit of spotting in the first 2 to 3 months. And then you may also not get your period, which for us doctors, I told you, is a positive.
Sure. Okay, Doc, we're completely out of time. We have a minute left. Patricia, let me get your closing remarks in 30 seconds, please. Perhaps a message to women like you, Patricia.
Okay, my message is clear. People should know the options that are available and they should actually seek professional guidance to ensure they do not fall into mistakes, or rather the options actually they are well catered for. Because contraception is a human rights issue.
Right, Patricia. Thank you. Doc, in 30 seconds, please, your closing remarks.
Get the right information from the right person, number one. Number two, like Patricia has said, it is your right. And have your children when you're ready, not because of an accident. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
And contraceptives do not cause infertility. They actually, when it comes to hormonal methods, for example, they protect your fertility.
Right.
But for me, the take-home message is get the right information from the right person so that then you're able to make an informed choice.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a great place to end it. Thank you so much, Dr. Bridget Monde, a consultant obstetrician and gynecologist, and of course, Patricia Combo, a mother who was joining us live via Zoom. Thank you so much for your time, for viewing, actually. We do appreciate it. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for to the entire crew that made this production a success. My name is Grace Kuriakanja. Do have a blessed night.